NBC's Craig Melvin is joining us from Lafayette, Louisiana for this morning. And Craig, with a good morning to you. What has been the reaction there among the people of Lafayette?
You know, so many people here, Alex, simply wonder why. You know, why here, considering the shooter really does not have a definitive tie to this community. You know, we know that he lived in a Motel 6 for about 3 or 4 weeks, but beyond that, no connection to Lafayette. So that's one of the major questions that investigators are really trying to dig into. It also appears as if, based on a news conference that was held 5 or 6 o'clock yesterday, it also appears as if he may have been essentially casing this theater. He showed up several times, and they're also looking at whether he was essentially doing the same thing in Lafayette, whether he came here with the intention of carrying out the attack on Thursday. The mood, as you might imagine, among folks, sad, angry, especially students. You know, U of L, just a stone's throw from where this theater is behind me, not even a mile. A lot of students came to this theater. A lot of students said that they would come to this theater on Thursday nights. It was in walking distance to the campus. We spent some time at a vigil last night. This is what some of those students had to say. Take a listen.
Really just to be here and to support everyone and to just be a part of the community that I love. I felt it was right, you know, as a student here, I felt it was right to come and, you know, pay my respects and just be there to support everyone.
It's definitely nerve-wracking because I never would have expected it to happen here in Lafayette. But like I said before, I think we can all just help each other out and get through this.
I'm gonna go back. That's one of my favorite movie theaters. It's close to my home. I've been going there for years. That's where I go. And I mean, one act of senseless violence is not going to change my day-to-day attitude towards any business.
So many folks said that they are vowing to go back in this theater when it reopens. At this point, no idea when that's going to happen, Alex.
Yeah. You know, Craig, the part that gets me, you heard in the intro, this man has a history of erratic behavior, some level of mental illness, if not hospitalization for that. How in the world was he able to get a hold of that weapon used in the attack?
Well, that's the other big question. You know, for a long time, yesterday especially, the big question was, you know, did he get the gun legally? Did he get the gun illegally? Well, we found out that he did, in fact, purchase the .40 caliber handgun legally. He bought it at a pawn shop in Phoenix City, Alabama, back in 2014. What's interesting about that, though, is we heard from a sheriff in Alabama yesterday who said that he was denied a concealed permit back in 2006 because of a previous criminal domestic violence complaint, because of a previous arson charge as well. So how was he able to get that gun? But again, he did purchase the gun legally. And this history of mental illness that you talked about, you know, in the divorce filings, we learned from his wife that at some point he was supposed to be taking medication to treat a mental illness. According to her, he was supposed to be taking this medication every day. She says he was not doing that. He at times would not eat meals like he should, which exacerbated the condition, according to her. But that's just part of it. The mental illness is just part of it. I mean, here's a guy who, you look at some of the postings on social media, you look at some of his previous run-ins with the law. I mean, there's this story, you know, back in the early 2000s, he owned this bar in LaGrange, Georgia. The bar gets busted for underage alcohol possession, not once, not twice, not 3, but 5 times. They take his liquor license, and he shows up at the hearing, and he lets the board have it. And then to really stick it to him, he goes and he drapes a huge swastika on the side of the bar, the size of a sheet that you could see from the highway. That's the kind of guy that we're talking about here, Alex, but according to investigators.
Yeah, I tell you, Craig Melvin, thank you very much for outlining all that. Lots of questions. Well, let's turn now to MSNBC law enforcement analyst and retired ATF Special Agent Jim Kavanaugh. What do you think of all that you just heard, Jim? There's a guy with the description that Craig was offering us, and he's got a gun and goes out and does what he does in that theater.
Well, you know, this is sad because this guy, Hauser, shouldn't have had the gun, Alex. It would have been illegal for him, from everything we know, to purchase a gun. He was involuntarily committed by a court for mental evaluation. Involuntarily committed to mental, evaluation. That is specifically bars a person from purchasing a gun. And what's happened is, once again, in America, we don't learn the lessons from the events that occur. We don't make the changes that we can legally make. Look, Joe goes into Virginia Tech and commits this vulgar mass murder, and he was barred from buying a gun because of his mental, he was involuntarily committed because he was a mental defective. But it never was entered in the computer. That was 2007. This happens to Hauser in 2008. A judge orders him involuntarily committed. Yet the state, the county, the clerk, they don't enter this into the database that says he's involuntarily committed. So now he's able to buy a gun in 2014 and slaughter some of our best citizens. So,
I'm
this can
listening
be
to this,
fixed.
Jim. I mean, how is, barring human error there, not remembering to put something in a computer, I mean, how in an open society can we keep better track of individuals who might be prone to acts of violence?
Well, here we have a guy who is barred, probably from the record we see, from purchasing a gun in 2014. The dealer should have turned him away. The Nick Center should have turned him away. The Georgia authorities should have turned him away. So what we need to do is have those records entered. We don't need a new law for that. We already have it on the books, but we're not as leaders in the states, in the county clerk's offices. We're not having procedures. We're not going back and putting these people in if we failed to put them in. A governor could call in the county clerks of every county in the state and say, I want this fixed. I want every involuntary commitment in the last 10 years entered in the database, and I want a process that it never happens again. If everybody did that, we'd all be safer today. Yeah. And that doesn't need a new law. So this guy also, Alex, hated society. He was a misogynist. He was a bigot. Everything he says in his writings. And also, he's in a film that really is, a representative of modern society, how modern society is today, and people are in there laughing and enjoying the movie, and he can't deal with that. He can't deal with that. And so he slaughters them.
Yeah. As a button-up detail, third mass shooting incident in the last 4 weeks. Jim Kavanaugh, thank you so much.